world go on, have you noticed how the world is even trying to convince... Does everybody understand you're a human? Nobody thinks they're a raccoon, right? As you see the world go on, have you noticed how the world is even trying to convince humans now that they're animals? That's not some accident, guys. The animals aren't God. There's no God dog. There's no God cheetah. But there is a God man. And the surest way to keep somebody from partaking in the God man, in his nature, is by convincing them they're an animal. That's how you have them separated from experiencing life. And so as the world moves on, I don't want to get into a long discussion about time, but you know, time is not just like this thing that's just like open-ended. When time began, it's more like an hourglass. It's ticking down and it's coming to a culmination. And as we reach the culmination of the age of movement and we enter into the age of stasis, permanent rest, because we're in Him, in the fullness of deity manifest in all of creation, as we get closer to that, you're going to see a greater perversion of who and what human is. Because if you can pervert what human is, then it makes it very difficult for human to experience the divine nature. Because the way human experiences the divine nature is through the God-human Jesus. And if now you're excluded from being human and you're like inhuman, how are you going to experience the divine nature when it's come together inside of the man Jesus? You won't. And so Jesus starts off by asking the disciples. See, I'm already talking fast. Lord have mercy. Jesus starts off by asking the disciples, who do people say that I, the Son of Man, am? And I'm going to highlight this because this is important for us to experience the divine nature as human beings. Notice Jesus gives a qualification to his question. He doesn't just say, who do people say I am? That's not what he says. He first identifies himself with humanity. He first identifies himself with human nature, with human flesh. He identifies himself with flesh and blood when he calls himself the Son of Man. I'm the Son of Man. And it's from there that he says, who do people say I am? And the disciples respond saying, well, some say that you're John the Baptist. Some say Elijah. Some others say Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Well, that would be a fine thing, you would think, right? I mean, sometimes we could think, oh, I would like to be Elijah or John the Baptist. There was a guy a long time ago that he heard me preaching in the old building. And he came up afterwards and he said, he's a prophet type of guy. He said, behold, one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord. And I thought, yeah, that still doesn't make me feel good about how I cry. But anyway, you would think that's a nice thing. Oh, be one of the prophets. Hallelujah. The prophets are esteemed. You have some sections of Christianity that even set up little images of the prophets and think that somehow those prophets are now a gateway or a portal into heaven. So that would be a great thing, wouldn't it? I just want to say real quick, there's one portal into heaven, into the earth. There's one portal from earth to the heaven and heaven to the earth. It's the God-man, Jesus Christ. That's it. He's the only one that's full of grace. That's the only way by which you experience grace. It's not by any of these other guys. If we esteem any of these other people, the reason we esteem them is because of the Christ that dwelled in them. As Paul said, it's not I who live, it's Christ living in me. If I want to esteem something about Paul, and by the way, I do esteem something about Paul, I got a nice little emblem